So we're going to look at a progression that's on paper super simple. We're just going to play 1, 2, 3, 4 in the key of A major. But what's really going to make it shine and give it that R&B sound is the different embellishments that we're adding. And the fact that we're going to use some more upper structure voicings. So this is hopefully going to expand our minds and our playing, and to note that just because we're playing a simple set of chord changes doesn't mean we can't create something that sounds interesting and has intrigue. So let's hear what it sounds like. So this playthrough is basically a demonstration of the different ways we can approach some of these more upper structure voicings. And what I mean by that is when we're playing through this chord progression, we're really just playing the 1, 2, 3, and 4 chord that happen in the key of A major, right? This is my 1 chord, my 2 chord, my 3 chord, and my 4 chord. But now all of a sudden, we're going to say, well, that's cool, but maybe a keys player might take that part. How can I occupy a slightly higher part of the guitar? And so to do that, I'm going to start to use these more upper structure voicings. So for that 1 chord, and you can see I'm switching around, I'm playing with some different things. I'm starting with this. So the first couple times I played it, I was just doing this A major triad shape. I wasn't even adding the 7 initially. So that's just my typical A major triad with my first finger barring so that I also have the root note on top. And then you can see I was using my pinky to get that 6 interval and then lifting it off back to the 5. Right? So when I hear stuff like that, that instantly makes me think of a lot of the classic gospel quartet. And if you don't know that style of music, it's really foundational in a lot of the R&B that we see out of artists like D'Angelo, different artists that I think were coming a lot out of LA or just the South in general. This is a classic guitar-driven style of gospel music that really found its way into R&B and soul music. So even something simple like 1 and 4, I could play something like this and then go up to something like that. Right? So again, a really cool sound that I fell in love with, especially too when I started to really jump more into gospel music, understand what it meant and understand the different choices guitar players would make, because it was so foreign from what I'd maybe hear a rock player do. So I have this voicing, which again is just my major triad, my 1 chord with a little hammer on that 6. Then I went up to my 2 chord here on B minor. And you can hear I'm starting to do some more multi-string hammer-ons, which we're going to get more and more into, but I wanted to introduce it a little bit in this one. So again, I'm just thinking about strumming this chord, hammering on my 9, and if I want to, adding that whole little lick on top, where I'm, again, playing the chord, hammering my pinky onto that 10th fret, which is just that flat 7 again, the root again, and then the 9. So now I'm going up to this chord, and as I had talked about before, a lot of times when I'm playing the 3 chord, right, it's supposed to be a minor 7 chord, but I tried to make the decision here. I'm actually just going to play my A chord again, right? This would be a little bit of a variation over it. But I'm kind of thinking about it more as an inversion. So I have my 1 chord, which was A. I have my 2 chord, which is B minor, and again I'm doing that little walk up that's kind of quartet-like. Then I'm going back to my A chord, but as an inversion. And I'm adding again that little melody on top with my pinky. And now I'm at my 4 chord. And I can do that same thing, so. Right? So again, I'm not doing anything super out of the box, and if you were to listen to some more of the classic soul guitarists or more of the gospel quartet guitarists, they've been doing this stuff for a really, really long time. It's really a cornerstone of their playing. But when I start to incorporate it more into the things that I'm doing, I have these avenues when I'm playing R&B that can say, hey, if I want to add a little bit more intrigue or some trills or some flurries that happen on each chord, I have the availability to do that. And I was also switching between voicing. So sometimes I would play this more triad shape for the 1. Sometimes I would go up here. Sometimes for the 2, I'm just doing the 9. Sometimes I want to do the full voicing. I was also descending up here. And then on the 4, sometimes I wanted to play that major 7 and was even doing this little cool slide up and down. So the cool and not so cool part about listening to R&B is guitarists tend not to repeat themselves. A lot of times there is a very defined part, but if you're to listen to the classic styles where a guitarist is just grooving, the whole fun of it is sometimes the progressions are just repeating, and we're trying to think, how can I constantly create intrigue? How can I always be traveling? How can I listen to the other musicians and, oh, the keys player does something I like, so I want to play it back to them, or the singer does something I like, or the melody follows this way. These are all the little details and the styles that we're trying to jump into so that we can be a little bit more comfortable in traveling our guitar and creating something that, again, sounds unique, has personality, but is still simple at its core.